So for those of you who are in the real estate industry and you're following very closely what's happening with the major lawsuits that have been launched in the United States, two big real estate brands have reached settlement in this lawsuit. The first one was Anywhere, which is formerly Realogy. They represent brands such as Century 21, Better Homes and Gardens. The second one being Remax. Now, the lawsuit was basically with regards to commissions when it comes to real estate. And the effects of this could result in a decoupling in the kind of commission plans or commission structures that a home seller pays. And I'm not going to go into the details of the lawsuit. I'll link it in wherever you're watching this. I'll link some articles for it. But the major thing is this video is not intended to be a prescription about what you should do as a realtor in order for you to be able to be prepared if this were something to come to Canada, if you're a Canadian realtor, but more so, how do you sell the value of the services that you provide to a home seller and to a home buyer? The gist of the lawsuit is basically saying that when a listing is taken by a realtor, the seller ends up paying a full commission, whether it's, let's say, 5% or 6%, whatever it happens to be. And a part of that commission is, of course, paid to the cooperating brokerage or the brokerage that represents the buyer. Now, the issue with that, according to this lawsuit, is that the seller is paying that entire commission. Now, whether they're doing this knowingly, if the realtor properly explained this to them, or unknowingly, if the realtor just pretty much put this all together in one package and didn't explain the breakdown, what they're trying to say is that basically as home prices went up, these commissions never changed. So 5% on a $300,000 home became 5% on a $500,000 home, so on and so forth. Now, a realtor, if they are presenting value, that's fantastic. But if someone is not presenting value in a real estate transaction, then of course it causes the seller to question what is the value of the commission that they're paying. And that's pretty much what this lawsuit is about. There's other intricacies and details. You can look it up. But basically what the discussion is, or the idea behind this, what's about to unfold, is you as a realtor, if you're representing a seller, what is it that you do to explain properly what services you provide and what that service is worth in terms of the result to your client? If you're achieving exceptional results for your client, if you're providing a full service, if you're providing all of the details of the transaction and what your client's expectations are, and it meets or exceeds their expectation, then that's fantastic. But if the services are not as clear, or you're not giving a clear explanation as to what you're providing, then you've got to really look at how you're marketing yourself and how you're presenting your value. And so most of the real estate industry, of course, is going to be looking at this and then wondering, as a buyer's agent, if I have to now negotiate my commission because the seller decides not to offer compensation to the buyer, but now I have to negotiate that compensation directly with my client, what does that look like in terms of me being able to present my value to my buyer client? And on the seller's perspective, it's very interesting because if you know the history of where buyer agency came from, pretty much many decades ago, when professional real estate was just starting out, there was really just a seller, that one commission that was paid. And sometimes most of the times, I guess, the client would end up going to the seller's agent in order to be able to purchase that property. And so over time, what evolved was buyer agency. And I know this is sort of a quick history. I'm sure there's a lot of details behind this as well. But buyer agency basically set apart the two transaction sides, which is the seller side representing the listing agent representing the seller, and the buyer's agent or the cooperating agent representing the buyer. It's interesting that this whole thing is coming full circle, where now that buyer side of the equation is being questioned as to whether it should be bundled with the seller's commission or it should be separate. Should the seller be allowed to still offer compensation? Of course, they'll still be allowed to offer it, but is it mandatory? Some boards have already eliminated this mandatory commission that is being offered to buyers' agents, and pretty much allowing the seller to decide what form of compensation they will provide. So this is an interesting discussion to have. This is going to be the first of many videos that I'll spend talking about this, because it is a very important piece of information for our industry. But the overall underlying message behind this video is you've got to be able to properly present the value you bring to the equation. You've got to present the full suite of services that you offer to your clients. Above all, you've got to represent your client's best interest. Do what's right for them and get the results that are right for your clients. Hope you found this information helpful, and feel free to leave me a message or comment. Let me know what you think about it.